Thanks very much, Sam McKee. I'm joined by one of the new faces here at the Meadowlands, Tara Hynes. You just started your racing stable 3 months ago, already with 10 wins, including a win earlier today at Freehold. Thanks for being our guest here in the Sulky.
Thank you for having me, Justin.
Now, you've been in the news a lot the last week for something pretty awesome off the track. An article was posted on ustrotting.com about 7 standardbreds that were in grave danger of going off to slaughter. That's when you stepped in and take the story from there.
I logged on to the USTA website to check my entries, and I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. I generally do not read or even look at the links to the news and topics. I generally go straight to the entries. For some reason, it did catch my eye, and at the time that I noticed the story, there was only, I guess, maybe through the end of the night. It was a Wednesday. They said the horses needed the homes by Thursday. I read into the article, and it had mentioned that there was a lot of money and charges to, get these horses out of the position they were already in. That being said, I started a GoFundMe, and everyone in the business was very helpful in quickly helping me get all that money together so that they can now be living at my farm.
And then you raised thousands and thousands of dollars from all areas of the industry. People stepped up, and within days, there they are. They were at your farm, safe and sound. That's pretty amazing that everyone stepped up to help.
Yes, and they are all very grateful.
Now, social media played a big role in getting the word out. It was all over Facebook, Twitter. People jumped in. How important was social media to really get the word out?
Social media is probably the biggest thanks I can give in raising this money, especially since it had to be done in such a short period of time, and I was able to gather it from all areas of the country without having to meet up with anybody to do so. So that was extremely helpful.
Now, there's so many stories out there of retired racehorses and being retrained to have second careers. What are you going to do now with these horses now that they're safe and sound and we know that they're going to be good for a long time?
I'm sure once they settle in, I want to give them a little bit of time to really just realize that they don't have any new obligations and that they're safe and sound. But once they settle in, I'm sure they would enjoy to have a job if we could train, myself and some of my students at my farm could see if they're, rideable and what kind of condition they're in to have a little bit of a job in life.
Now, you talk about your farm. You have a farm. I think you said you have another farm
Yeah.
now, 2 farms. Where are you based? Where can people find these horses now?
I have 2 farms in Monroe Township in New Jersey. All of the horses are about a mile away from each other. I have 2 farms, one that I have them quarantined at, and then one that I have an indoor and outdoor riding arena. I teach lessons, have lots of customers who have also pitched in and are all really helping in making these horses have a home.
Yeah, now they're safe and sound. Is there a way people can still help, though? Obviously, they need to be taken care of and need a lot as horses do. How can people get in touch with you or still help out with this?
If anybody's interested, I'm easily found on social media, of course. And through there, like I said, I am willing to take care of them from this point on. But if anyone is interested in coming and seeing them or helping, or they always could use more attention and things like that.
Now, you don't come from a horse racing family like so many people in this business do, but you're a total horse girl. What is it about these animals that got you hooked at such a young age?
I'm not sure, but my parents had taken myself and my older sister for riding lessons starting when I was 5. I immediately fell in love with it. My older sister quit the first time she saw me fall off. And I think that was just it. From that point on, I was always finding a way to take more lessons. I eventually, got my first horse when I was 12 years old. And competed and showed and things like that. And just from there, I was determined to be able to get my own farm and take on as many animals as I can.
Now, being from an equestrian background, how did you find your way from show jumping and all that stuff to harness racing?
My first step into harness racing was definitely when I heard about the racing under saddle. I was not too tall for it, so that was pretty much I was in. That's all I needed to know. So I, being close neighbors with the Landy family at Congress Hill, I headed over there and was asking, if anyone there wanted to help me on this endeavor. And for the past 5 years, I've been working with different trainers and just learning from everybody I can,
Now, we just saw you there. You actually won a race under saddle here at the Meadowlands last year. I don't know if you know, but 10 for 11 in the money last year under saddle. That's pretty impressive. You could make a lot of people happy doing that when we have those races as pari-mutuel events. But as an equestrian, under saddle seems like a pretty natural fit for you. What about that part of harness racing and its future and as it continues to grow?
I do believe that it could have an excellent future. People are certainly interested in it. I know it got me into the business myself, and now I have a barn of 8 harness racing horses, even though there aren't under saddle races going on right now. It's certainly a great sport and very well received in other countries and, in Canada now also. So I hope it does have a future here.
Now, you started up your own racing stable 3 months ago, and you train them. You own all of them, I think, or at least most of them. How did you get that started, and how'd you go off on your own?
It all started with my first under-saddle horse, the first horse I ever jogged, the first horse I ever rode. His name was Mr. Go. Anyone who knows me has to hear about him all the time. I do still have him, although I've just retired him. And it started with him, and then I'd slowly, one by one, get more. And I tried to keep all my money from harness racing in harness racing and not take too much from my other businesses. And, as that grew, I was able to get, a couple other horses that weren't too costly and do my best to work with what I have.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, you're 24 years old, so it can't be easy to get started in this business as a 24-year-old. What's been the biggest challenge for you in getting off on your own, and who has maybe been a big help for you and kind of shown you the ropes a little bit?
I think one of the biggest challenges is definitely, was me overcoming just being nervous about it or what will people say or embarrassing myself and things like that. And I just think that my heart told me that it was going to work out because I am passionate about it, and I pretty much have been able to do anything I set my mind to thus far in life, so I thought this would work as well. I think one of the biggest influences in the beginning of my career for sure was Pat Barry. He was the first person who, through thick and thin, taught me a lot of the things that I know, and I do appreciate that.
Now, you've already accomplished so much in such a short period of time in this business. What's kind of the big plan now? You do have a lot going on. What's your goal now in harness racing 3 months into your big career here?
My goal would definitely be to continue on. It's something I love, and I don't think I'd be able to give up even if I wanted to. I think I'm kind of hooked now. So my goal is to just keep taking care of the horses, give them good homes, hopefully they race well, and I, of course, will, try to home and keep any of the horses that are in my possession and, for the remainder of their life when they retire. Now,
as amazing as all of your horse interest sounds, something that's even more amazing to me, not only do you have horses that you took in, the 7 horses, but you also became the guardian of a teenage girl 2 years ago on your own. How did that start? And that's pretty awesome. Macy is her name. She's with you now.
Yes, that was certainly the best decision I ever made in my life. She is an extremely talented young girl who I'm sure will have a very successful career in horses, both show horses and race horses. She's the most intelligent young woman I've ever met. Amazes me every day, the hardest worker. She had come to my farm. Her mother, has had horses as well with me, and she had a job transfer. She was from Texas, lived in New Jersey for a short period of time. Her mom did have to move back to Texas. Her talent was so extensive, and there was not a lot going on for her there, or a lot of opportunities for her to, show her talent and have a career in this. And so being as talented as she is, we thought it would be best if she could stay here and shine.
That's pretty awesome to have a 16-year-old girl. I think anybody who's a parent out there knows what a challenge that can be to have a teenage girl. And you opened up your house and your arms. That's pretty amazing that you did that.
Thank you.
Now, tonight you've got another starter here at the Meadowlands, race 12, HS Open Water's been racing very well. Maybe got a little tired in the dash for the G-Notes final last week. What do you make of her expectations tonight?
I think she will do well. Of course, I hope she will do well. She has a big heart. She seems to try. Like I said, this will only be her 3rd start here with me at the Meadowlands. She had been racing off freehold, and she's really impressed me so far since the move off the half.
Now, you said you have 8 horses. Who's the barn favorite? Do you have one that's the best one in your stable so far?
Well, Mr. Go is there as the mascot, of course. And then I don't pick favorites. There's things about them I love, but Flowing James, who was seen in that video that I won with here last year, and he also won today, in the bike at Freehold. He's also a big favorite, I guess, because of the connection I have with him from the racing under saddle.
Well, we're really happy to have you here. You're a wonderful new addition to harness racing here in New Jersey. You did some amazing things saving those horses. That's really fantastic. You said you save alpacas too, so anyone who needs a home for their animals, Tara Hynes has room for you. Thanks for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way here, and we'll see you in the winner's circle, hopefully. That's Tara Hynes, my guest, in the sulky. Now, let's go up to Gary DeLeo, who's got some poker tonight in the gallery. Gary?